Welcome to episode number 13 of Blowin' Wind with the Great Southern Brain Fart. This time around, we're talking to my old buddy Michael Sweet of Stryper. That's right, folks. God's Bumblebees are back in 2018, and they've delivered their strongest, hardest-hitting album, in my opinion, with Goddamn Evil. Getting the opportunity to talk to Mike is always a treat. He's a fan of the blog, and even though he's used to me dropping F-bombs, I tried my hardest to behave myself and watch my language. Sorry, Mikey. Anyway, we talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked about how having some new blood in the form of bassist Perry Richardson has re-energized the band both on and off the stage. We also talked about the irony of being banned because of their latest album title, and, well, as always, Mikey and I just talked, because that's just what we do best. As always, it was an amazing time talking to him, and I hope y'all will enjoy this episode of Blowin' Wind with the Great Southern Brain Fart. So strap in and enjoy. Well, Michael, welcome to the Great Southern Brain Fart's Blowin' Wind podcast.
This is my kind of title, my kind of show.
I kind of figured it would be that way. Yeah, you and I have had these conversations in the past, you know. we kind of connect on this odd level, you know. So.
I just had a great burrito last night.
Let me tell you, I'll be honest, between you and Lawrence Gowan of Styx, you two have probably been my biggest fans of the name.
I can see that with Lawrence, man. Lawrence is a character, so I could totally see that.
Which is so funny, because coming from a lot of the hard rock metal dudes, they're all just kind of like, okay, yeah, cool. But then, like, you and Lawrence are like, yes, I'm down with this.
Yeah, dude. I love that guy. We had so much fun when we toured together, and he's just a riot. He really is.
You know, he's such a great, positive, you know, just, I mean, you talk about someone that's grateful, you know, for doing what they do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's always so refreshing to speak to people like that, you know, and man,
it is.
And this is like I think this is our either third or fourth interview, so I feel like, you know, I should have bought you flowers or something, you know.
Hey man, dude, you know what? I'm sure we're going to have many more. At some point we'll be saying this is our 30th interview, you know.
We'll celebrate our paper anniversary somewhere along the line, you know.
Exactly.
Well, so I have to tell you first, like right out the gates, Goddamn Evil. Brilliant. Love the fucking record, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I get excited and I cuss. That's what happens.
Dude, you never have to apologize. No worries.
But I'm serious.
I'm glad you like it. We feel it's our best, and we've gone on record saying that, and you know, people get up in arms about it, but we really do feel and believe that. Absolutely.
You know, I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine the other day where we were talking about how when bands go out on tour, and especially bands that are continuing to put out new music, and how disappointing sometimes it is when you go see a band and you get like one song off of a new album, and then you get like, you know, so while I understand it's important to play the hits, I'm always very impressed with bands like, you know, like Stryper and Iron Maiden, and you know, even like I just recently saw Alice in Chains, and who are still, even though they're very proud of their legacy and they play the songs that the fans want to hear, there's a certain level of pride in their new material that they infuse a good fair amount of their new material into their sets, because it, again, like I said, it shows that pride in the album. So
exactly.
So with that being said, like what can we expect to hear when you guys hit Atlanta on the Goddamn Evil tour as far as like new material?
Well, right now we have 4 songs in the set.
That's
4
great.
new songs.
That's awesome.
And, we're going to rehearse another one today and tomorrow. We're planning on it certainly by Atlanta, having it in the sets. So by that point, we'll have 5 songs. And then once we hit the ground again in the fall, we're going to add another song. We'll have 6 songs off the new album. So you can't beat that. I mean, these songs go over really well live. People enjoy them. They get the same response as the classics. It's incredible.
And that's a great feeling because, again, so a good friend of mine, he's a promoter. I mean, well, not a promoter, a PR guy, and he emailed me like right after the promos of the album went out, and he was like, "Have you heard Take It to the Cross yet? Have you heard Take It to the Cross yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't heard it yet." He's like, "Dude, go listen to Take It to the Cross right now. You're going to lose your fucking mind." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and listened to it. And the minute that chorus kicked in, I was like, "Holy shit, man. These guys are like not next level stuff." And then when I did my research, I was like, dude, they had Matt from Shadows Fall on it, dude.
Oh, yeah. Matt made perfect sense because, we were going for that particular style on the choruses, especially, which is bordering on thrash, And we've had a lot of people over the years say, man, do something thrashy. And Take It to the Cross was our answer to that.
Right.
Okay. And, even though it's not like hardcore thrash, it's borderline. It's borderline. So Matt was the perfect fit to come in and do the vocal on that. And that's a song. It's interesting with that song. It's love and hate. I mean, you can go to YouTube and read every comment, and literally you'll see a comment that says, "Best song they've ever done. I love it." The next one is, "This sucks. I hate it." And the next comment is, "Wow, brilliant." Next comment is, "Wow, this is terrible."
Or the one I've heard is like, "It's great up until the chorus," and then the other one I've heard is that it's great, and then the chorus comes in and it blows your face off.
Yeah, and it's funny. I have to say, for me, the chorus is the best part.
I love it. I love that.
I mean, it's the best part of the song, and it's like you remove the chorus, and what's the point?
Well,
it's so silly.
But it also goes back to kind of like, I mean, isn't that kind of how Stryper always functioned? Was in this fashion that you guys did what you wanted to do. There was always going to be this love-hate, relationship with the general public, not even just with your fans, but with the general public itself. And yet you guys just always just said, we roll with it.
You completely, you nailed it. You nailed it. And that's not just musically, that's lyrically, that's our image, our look, yellow and black. I mean, we knew people were going to make fun of us because we wore yellow and black head to toe, but did we care? No. I mean, we do. Stryper's always been about doing our own thing and knowing that we're going to get grief for it and not really caring about that. I mean, we still respond to stuff and we still, talk to people and try to explain and educate them on what we're all about and everything. But you know what? Stryper's got more haters than probably all metal bands combined. Which
is funny because, like, again,
you think you got it tough if you're in, you pick any metal band. You think you got it tough? Come hang with Stryper for a week.
Because you've also got the unfortunate, or like, for you, it's probably kind of fortunate because I know you and you enjoy that because you kind of take that fuel, because what I always got out of Stryper was that, like, instead of like, retaliating and spending all your time doing this, you're just like, you know what? If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool too. But you know what? We can kind of take that fuel and put it to the music. And boy, if you hate us now, you're really gonna hate us after this one. You know what I mean?
There's no question, man. No. We use all the negativity as fuel. That's what fuels the fire in this band, and that's why we're still going stronger than ever. Mm-hmm. There's no signs of stopping, and I think it irritates some people because we're the band that won't go away.
Yeah,
and I think some people want us to.
Well, to be honest, like, I would want you to go away if you quit making quality music. But it's like one of those type of things where, like, I've said this before. There's bands like Maiden who continue to put out material that makes them totally relevant and a very much a viable band in the time. So, like, I've never heard Maiden make an album where I said, like, oh man, they should just pack it in. Like, they make an album and I go, damn, they still have fuel in the tanks, whereas like Stryper, in my opinion, I felt like you guys always had that fuel, but now you're like tapping into the reserves and like it's just coming out heavier. You know what I mean?
So you said you'd want us to go away if we weren't putting out good music. So in other words, you want many other bands out there to go away.
Well, but a good example.
I know. I get it. I'm in 100% agreement with you, and I think sadly there are some bands out there that just don't care anymore, or they don't try anymore. And bands like Maiden do. You see the bands that really still love what they do. They still work hard at it, and you know who those bands are. Priest just released a killer album. And then you go see a band that just doesn't care anymore, and you're kind of sitting there thinking, at least I am, like, why are you doing this? Why don't you just stop?
And that's so funny because, like, and that kind of segues into my next thing, was that you mentioned Priest, and Priest just put out, in my opinion, like to me, it's like the best stuff they've done since Defenders of the Faith, or like, it's almost like this missing link between Screaming for Vengeance and Painkiller, so it's like, but they've also kind of undergone, a shift in lineup. And again, I'm not one to like, ponder upon this, but one of the things I did notice on this is that the shift in lineup with you guys was definitely apparent in the recording, because it felt like there was some infused energy, but and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe there was also some infused frustration with like the kind of oversaturation of the topic in the media. Like, the thing is like, you and I've also talked about this with other people, is that I said, you know what, I'm not going to talk about the same things that every other person is going to ask you, because you've answered it 1,000 times, So we know there's been a change.
I know my daughter reads through all the interviews before we post them, and she's like, "Dad, you say the same thing over and over again."
Right. And so to me, it doesn't make any sense to ask about it, because the whole world knows at this point, okay, guess what? There's been a shift in the lineup of Stryper. But what I want to know from you...
Thank God.
Yeah.
And that's, that's to say, in a good way, we are re-energized and to use cliche words, renewed and restored and all of the above. I mean, we feel like a new band again. We feel young, we feel recharged, and we're smiling, and because of all that, that's coming through in the music.
Yes, it absolutely is coming through in the music, and it came through on the album. And what I was curious to ask you is, what about the live dynamic? Because I haven't seen it live.
Well, you tell me when you do.
Okay.
And, everybody so far that sees it, and I mean, when I say everyone, I mean everyone, says, what a difference. What a difference. I mean, there's this new level of energy, musicianship, vocal abilities, harmonies, locking in, joy, more smiling and having fun, and you'll see a huge difference, and it's really amazing, and we're just so thrilled, man. It's really cool.
So how hard is it though, like for you, when you have to go through this whole rigmarole of like interview after interview, and people are going, so like, why did this happen? And you have to find yourself constantly like almost justifying it in some ways. Like, is it just at some point where you're just kind of like, just guys, just let the music do the talking. If you see us happy and we're happy, let us be happy. Like, it's really nobody else's business why we were unhappy, and it's really nobody's business why we're happy. Because the funny thing is no one ever seems to question and go, Mike, why are you so happy? Like they always want to know, why is everything so bad?
The thing is, life should be about, enjoying every moment with a smile on your face and taking it all in. And at the end of the day, going to bed and laying your head on the pillow and saying, today was a good day. And now it is. It's not that it wasn't in the past. I mean, we had those days too. We had a lot of great times in the past, but now it's just a whole different level of greatness. Uh-huh. And we kind of feel a sense of, like newness, like, we're back in the garage days again, and that excitement as kids, like, let's go take on the world and conquer the world. That's what we're feeling. And that's how it feels, although our bodies are older, and it's a little tougher to jump around.
It hurts a little more.
We used to do. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts a little more. But our minds are the same. Our hearts are the same. And we just are loving every minute. And I tell you, man, it's a real blessing. And we couldn't be more thrilled with where we're at as a band right now. And we wouldn't change a thing, man. I mean, we wouldn't change a thing. I mean, we're planning on putting in our other 15 or 20 years or 25 years or however long it's going to be, Lord willing. We're planning on putting in that time with this lineup. There's no plans or signs of doing anything different at all.
So when Perry came aboard and you guys, like, how involved was Perry with the creative aspect of Goddamn Evil, or was a lot of that already kind of like in place, and then he just kind of came aboard?
Yeah, it was already in place, and the reason for that is he had commitments with Craig Morgan, and then we had commitments with the album. Everything was already scheduled and on the books and calendar, and we just kind of had to continue down those paths. But next time around, I'm sure there will be a lot more involvement. And, we're very open-minded to that. Whatever's best for the album, whatever works for the album is kind of the way it works here. We always go into it very serious and wanting to do what's best for the album. And that doesn't always mean that it's a group effort in terms of writing a song, or it doesn't always mean that it's a group effort in terms of producing or whatnot. We just got to do what's best for the album and what works the best for the formula and the team. And at the end of the day, we sit back and we listen to it and we go, wow, okay, this is what works. This is amazing.
See, and that's the thing, is that because, and you need to have that kind of agreement with your band and with whoever's in the band that that if this is how this is a formula, and
absolutely,
you're kind of walking into this. So with that being said, in the recording process, now, he was on the album, correct?
Well, no, he wasn't.
Okay, because I saw him credited, but I wasn't sure if he was on the album. Okay, so who?
He was credited. He was credited because he's in the band. But we also had there's another name on there that's credited as well by the name of John O'Boyle.
Okay.
And John was a studio player that played on my last solo album. Last few solo
that's
albums,
right.
Actually.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And he's a great player, and we knew he would be able to give us what we needed in terms of bass. And then Oz and I did all the background vocals.
Okay.
Oz and I and another guy by the name of Charles Foley.
Okay. So by the time Perry came in, you're talking, pretty much everything is done. So, which is actually in some ways kind of even more of a rickety situation, because now he's kind of coming in and going, okay, like, I've got to learn these tunes. But now but again, like we talked about this new blood that has kind of like rejuvenated you, and kind of, like you said, kind of like, are there things that you're excited to play again that maybe you haven't played in a while, that like you're like, that maybe your former person had some restraints of playing, that now you're like, oh, well, now we got this new guy and we want to play this, you know what I mean? Because he's down for it.
I tell you, Terry's joy, not just on stage but in life, is contagious. When I look over at him on stage and I see him smiling ear to ear, and you can tell that he's just really happy to be here and taking it all in. And the people in the crowd are looking at him and smiling because they pick up on it.
Right.
And then I pick up on it, and I walk over towards him, and I just look at him, and we're smiling at each other. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. That's a piece of the puzzle that has been filled, and we're just amazed, and it brings so much joy to our hearts, and that translates over to the performances and to the music and to everything.
So what is a song that you guys haven't played live in a while, or even ever, that you'd be like, you know what, I'd love to bust that one out?
You know what, there's a song on our album, Fallen. And I think it's on Fallen. You might have to correct me on this, but I think it's Fallen. It's a song called Big Screen Lives that we recorded.
Oh.
And we always dug the song, dug the message, dug the groove. We never played it, so we added that to the set. We obviously added new songs. We got The Valley, we've got Goddamn Evil, we've got Can't Live Without Your Love, and we have Sorry in the set right now. And those go over fantastic. We're going to rehearse Take It to the Cross today, and we're going to add that to the set. So we'll be doing that one special just for you in Atlanta.
I love it, dude. I might have to jump up on stage and be like, "Take it to the cross." Although I don't know that my...
Please do, man. Please do, because I can't sing.
I was about to say, I don't know that my throat would make it through the first two. I might just be like, you might end up getting like, "Take it to the cross."
Yeah, take it to
because but that was, like I said, what I loved again also about the album was, there seems to, it's weird, it's like, and I'm trying to find a way to actually say it in a good description, but it feels like Stryper has had, like, it's almost like it's been divided into like a couple of chapters, because me, I'm a big fan, but I'm also a very critical fan. I've talked about this in the past, but that, like, some bands come into, like, there's always, especially a band that's been around for as long as you guys have, or bands from my past, whether it's you guys, whether it's Maiden. I mean, Maiden hit this point, Priest hit this point, where there's a point where where I kind of get lost, where I'm kind of like, I don't know that was the best stuff, But then, like,
absolutely.
all of a sudden, like, so, you had from, like, Yellow and Black Attack to, like, Against the Law. But then it seemed like, for me, No More Hell to Pay was where this reborn kind of thing, pun intended, of course, but you know what I mean, like, it was like where I was like, oh my God,
found ourselves again.
If No More Hell to Pay had come after Against the Law, or even if it had come after In God We Trust, it would have made so much sense to me,
I would say that. I mean, nothing against the Law, but if it came after In God We Trust, I think it would have really taken off. I do, personally. Okay, and because that's the classic Stryper sound that everybody wants to hear.
Right.
In my opinion. No more hell to pay. It's like, okay, there they are, And then you got Fallen, which is a little heavier, but still kind of continuing on with that vibe. And then you got Goddamn Evil, which kind of takes it to a new level.
Right. And the funny thing was that for the last 3 releases, you guys have made my top albums list. I mean, and actually, 2018 is not even over with, and you're already on the list because it's But what I'm getting at with that is that as a metal writer who kind of has his ear to the ground, especially to hear like younger bands coming out and this kind of resurgence of bands, it's almost like the albums you guys are making now are appropriate for where heavy metal audiences are, but yet they're still appealing to Stryper fans. You see what I'm saying? Because we remember that sound.
Well, we're gaining. I think we're appealing to Stryper fans for the most part, but we're also gaining a lot of new fans because we're meeting them. I mean, I always ask that question every night: how many people have seen Stryper? How many people have not? And there are more people every night that haven't seen us. So that tells me that these are all new fans.
So. And that's an interesting, because you did that in Atlanta. And I remember being shocked, because you were like, how many people have seen Stryper? How many people are seeing Stryper for the first time? And there was like this roar. Is there a bit of concern there for you sometimes, like, or at all, that maybe it has something to do with like, maybe we've lost kind of like the heavy Christian followers along the way and picked up more of a secular metal crowd? Because
no, I mean, there's no concern. I mean, maybe the thought goes through the mind that, okay, wow, not as many people who have seen us, but still a lot versus people who haven't seen us. But there's no fear of it. I mean, we kind of look at it this way, like, it's all going to get sorted out in the wash. Right. So the people who aren't supposed to be here or aren't supposed to be at a show or a fan still, they kind of go like we lost some people because of the title. But, if we lose people because of our title after 34 years, maybe they shouldn't be a fan. I mean, it's that's kind of sad.
I'm actually so glad
we would lose someone, and after we explain it, we put the lyrics up and we say, this is what we mean by it. And they're like, well, I'm out of here. I can't support you anymore. It's like, well, okay, maybe you shouldn't. But we got a lot of people that do support us, who get it, who are new fans coming on board, and it's amazing. It's really cool.
See, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I thought nothing was funnier than like knowing that I could walk into a Walmart store and buy a Slayer album, but that I can't buy a Stryper album.
It's so ridiculous. So it's actually pathetic. It really is.
But at the same time, you should be totally honored to believe on the flip side of it that you've edged Stryper out. I mean, you've edged Slayer out, is what I mean.
It's insane. I mean, and for whatever reason, they didn't carry it in store. They did online, to be fair, but in store they didn't carry it. And it's really funny because I purposely went into a Walmart, my local Walmart, and looked at the music section. And I'm sitting there just laughing. I should have done a live Facebook. And I'm laughing at the albums they did have, yet they won't carry Goddamn Evil.
Bro,
are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's
double standard to the nth degree.
Well, and it's totally hilarious but like it kind of at the same time, like it kind of Stryper has always been. You said this one time we talked. I can't remember if it was the last time, but it was like, you couldn't win with the Christian crowd and you couldn't win with the secular crowd. So you just always just ended up just being this band that kind of just straddled the middle and was just like, you know what? We're done trying to appease either of you. So whoever wants to come along for the ride, hop on. But we're going regardless of what you like it or not. You know what I mean?
That's our mentality, dude, and it has been from the very beginning. And it's not that we are cold and don't care. It's just that we have a calling, we have a mission, and we're going to stay on it. and no person is going to change that.
No, and so, I mean, but to also kind of touch base on that, and, you know, not to dwell on it too much, but it also kind of harkens back to, like it brings back these memories of the 80s and the PMRC, and this kind of how, like, we're still dealing with levels of censorship, but yet at the same time we have high-ranking political figures, you know, and again, I'm not going to get too political, but like even our president, who has said inappropriate things on television, but yet Walmart won't carry a CD. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's always seems like that the music world is always fighting a battle on its own. Like, you know,
and not just the music world, but I mean the world. I mean, yet Walmart carries the most violent video games on the planet that kids go and play day in and day out, and it's a fact by many, you know, psychologists and many people that have an incredible, you know, opinion that's legit to say that these video games, you know, cause people to think more violent and maybe even act out more violence, and yet Walmart stuffs the shelves with those. You know, let's stuff the shelves, and you know it comes down at the end of the day to the mighty dollar. It really does.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, that's the. We really should have got someone from Walmart in on this call. That would have been fantastic.
Well, I don't even know if they'd care to get in on the call, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. I got nothing against Walmart. I still go there to buy my Advil. You know.
I love it. It's like, oh, you won't carry my album, but you know what? I'll buy your Advil. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, but again, that was, to me, that was always an aspect of Stryper that I always appreciated, and that I still appreciate, not only as a fan, but as a writer and as an observant, is that you guys just keep going regardless of what's against you, and you know what I mean, like, and you know, you're just always gonna be this way, and I hear no signs of you guys slowing down. So
no, man, no, you know, not yet, not in the near future. I mean, unless, again, I always say, Lord willing, you know, if we could stay healthy and keep breathing, there's no signs of slowing down at all. You know, and that's the ticket. Obviously, is keeping our health. You lose your health, and you know it's hard to do anything.
Right.
But we're trying to stay healthy and eat right and work out and all that good stuff. And man, maybe another 15, 20, 25 years. We'll see. I don't think another 34 years. That's kind of a scary thought. I don't like that thought.
I was just telling that to my wife the other day. I was like, let's see, I'm 44. I was like, maybe another, and she was like, "Oh, stop doing the math; it'll depress you."
Exactly. You know? It's true.
And she was like, just be 44 and happy and love it, you know. And I'm like, okay, because you know, as a musician myself, I'm going, okay, I'm 44. Like in 30 years, I'll be 70. I'll be 70. I'm like, holy shit, am I still going to be able to do this? And she was like, just don't do the math; it'll depress you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
If we're all still here and God's blessed us all, dude, you're gonna still be doing it. Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, and like you said, it might hurt a little more, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah, you gotta pop a few more Advils, you know. That's all.
Well, so I guess in closing, I wanted, because I don't want to keep you too long. I guess I'm sure you got a busy schedule and everything ahead of you. Is that with this tour, like, what can we? Well, I mean, what has been, aside from, like you said, like with the you know, the new energy and everything, like what has been something that you've gotten out of this tour, or that you're feeling from this tour that you haven't felt in a while, as far as like whether it be artistic or whether it be playing wise, or like being more up on your chops? Does that make sense? Like, what are you feeling differently?
Just feeling, you know, I'm feeling a new joy. And I said that earlier, but I'll say it again because that's really a perfect word. Just joy. I wake up in the morning and I want to do it. I get out of the bunk and it's like, yeah, let's go. There's this excitement and joy that comes along with that. And man, it's in all of us. We all feel the same thing. And, that comes across when we sound check, when we perform, when we do meet and greets, when we, whoever we come in contact with. It's this spirit that's here that's just so cool, man. And you can feel it. You can sense it. And it kind of lifts you up high. It's amazing.
Real quick before I hang up, or when I do like a sign off, just hang on for just a quick second so I can tell you a proper goodbye. Okay. So. Okay. Dude. But anyway, but that's so great that feeling that joy obviously adds to the energy, and that energy projects to the audience. So that. I am super excited for you. I'm excited for Stryper. I'm excited for the album. I'm excited to see the show when you guys roll into Atlanta. It's an exciting time to be a fan.
It is, man, and I can't wait for you to see and get your opinion. And hopefully it's a great show and a great night. I'm sure it will be. And man, the best is yet to come, buddy. We've got many more years ahead of us, and it's going to be the best. We're going to release our best music. We're going to perform our best shows, and there's no denying that. I mean, it's for sure. It's a fact. I'm not just trying to pump people up, but that's how we feel, and that's what we believe, and it's going to happen.
Well, Mike, I am so psyched for it, and I so appreciate you doing the interview. It's good when you've lost track of how many times we've talked. So I love that, man. But I always appreciate you taking out your valuable time to talk to me, man.
Likewise, buddy. Always a pleasure, man. And I can't wait to see it. Let me know when it's live, okay?
I sure will, Mike. Well, look, take care, and you have a great tour, and we'll see you in Atlanta.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Thanks. Bye-bye.